All right, let's continue where we left off with Reason and continue in this series to look on the advanced MIDI controllers, touchscreen, and iPad devices and controllers. Let's get going. Okay, so next we will look into Stream Deck and how to use Stream Deck as a controller towards Reason. The good thing with Stream Deck is that it works pretty much with every digital audio workstation, and it can send key commands and macros into your DAW, and also it is able to send MIDI commands if you want to control some MIDI devices, so you can also do MIDI. This is an add-on that you need to download for Stream Deck, but in case you need MIDI, that's the way to go. And so let's take an example over here. I have just now the basic buttons like save and edit, where I have the basic edit functions, so mute clip, repeat clip, split, join, then the MIDI notes, one up, one down, octave up, octave down, and things like that. But as an example, let's do so that we'll add a few buttons that deals with the Reason browser mixer and the rack. So if we start with the mixer, so we can then basically go and take a hotkey, and we could bring it here, and it's as easy as that you basically assign an F5 into it. And then now basically that button starts to function as working with the mixer. You can also of course change these from an icon library or then your own files. So if you take one from a file, you can then go and see that. Let's take for example this as an example. So this is the mix button, which will then launch the mixer. I don't have one for rack, but I just do it like in a sense. I could actually use some for the rack, but as just for the sake of example, I'll just create here a F6 for the rack. You can of course write in here, so which makes it a bit more understandable that what that button is. Of course, you can also bring things like might look similar to the window, and of course you can also use the plugin library that is here. So you could search, for example, a rack, but this doesn't mind too much about a rack. Let's go back and see, could there be something that we could basically let's just play that we use that as a rack. So let's see, yeah, so let's use that as a rack, and then let's do one more, which is basically then the sequencer. Oh, actually, yeah, let's do a few more. Let's do a sequencer. Just, the same pattern continues. So for the sequencer, you go F7, and then for example for the browser, let's do that as well, still just to show that how kind of easy it is. Of course you can do much more complex than this, so this is just to highlight the controller and the capabilities of it. So now once you are happy and you have programmed it, so then you can close the application, and then you can directly access that from here once you have selected the app. So you can then go from a rack to sequencer to mixer to rack to sequencer mixer, and open and close the browser. So that's quite easy busy, and this in a sense it is a quite extremely good one. I have used it a lot, although I haven't used Reason so much on music creation, so that's why I haven't programmed too many keys here. But this is how you do it, and definitely something to check out to speed up your workflow and work with different type of key commands or macros that you want to create. All right, let's move on. One controller that you have that doesn't directly support Reason is the SSL UF8. And however, when I configure it, I noticed that you can somehow control Reason with SSL UF8. For example, you can see now when I'm scrolling here that the scrolling in the screen changes. So the kind of the default track or the kind of the root track changes as I'm scrolling here, and so do the channels in the mixer scroll in SSL UF8. I can also deal with the faders, and I can also deal with the mute and solo buttons. I can also deal with the banning, and so these basic kind of controls that I have in SSL UF8 function with a Reason mixer. Also the transport works. So also the transport works. So I can basically work with the transport controls, and then I can also go and basically control and configure these. If I would go over here, and then let's say that I go to the one, and here I would do the same as I did in Stream Deck as a keyboard shortcut instead of like let's do that. So if I have it F5 as a keyboard macro instead of like built-in DAW command, yeah, now it works. So you can also program these buttons to function with Reason, and of course then you need to override the ones that are there because there is no predefined configuration. What I noticed in the UF8 also, that I'm actually using Luna profile, but the Luna and I guess the Luna and Logic Pro X are closest to Mackie protocol in that respect. So when you have a kind of a digital audio workstation that, and specifically kind of a profile in a UF8 that is close to Mackie control, then that will then work with Reason. However, there is an extension in Reason as well for this. If you right click here and you could basically do a remote override mapping. So you could potentially do an override mapping, and for example, if you take a UF8 rotary, as you can see here, now I could basically control that with here. So if I start to now move, you can see that the level in that channel moves. But then of course you will then lose panning most likely. Let's see, yeah, you will lose the panning because it will override and use it as a level. So you need to carefully think that, you know, what kind of overrides you do and where do you use them. But the good thing with Reason is that you can do this type of overrides. You can also configure and program your own script, and that is something that I've been looking into, but so far I haven't had time to work on a script that would help then to integrate the SSL UF8 with Reason. It might be even that at some point SSL will provide provide that profile from the factory, but we will see. Anyway, this could be a type of a controller, and then there are other fader controllers, of course, that you can use with Reason. But what I know is also that this also does work. So to the certain extent, it is not like fully compatible, but it does work. So even if I play, I can see that the metering here functions. So in that sense, it's close but not quite there. And I hope that one day there will be a native integration and script provided by SSL or even by Reason to support SSL UF8 in Reason. All right, let's move on. Alrighty, let's pause the video over here and continue next Tuesday. Remember to subscribe for the channel for more content. Thanks for watching. See you next Tuesday. Bye now.